In the heart of Pennsylvania, a star was born on December 12, 1993, named Alexis Lee Robinow. She was the epitome of joy and vivacity, her infectious smile and sparkle in her eyes lighting up every room she walked into. Raised in a loving and nurturing environment, Alexis was a beloved daughter, a cherished sister, and a loyal friend. From an early age, Alexis exhibited a flair for style and beauty. She was often seen experimenting with her mother's makeup, trying on different outfits, and staging her own little fashion shows at home. Her love for fashion was not just a hobby, it was a passion that she wanted to turn into a career. She was a diligent student, always striving to do her best. Her teachers remember her as a bright, curious mind, constantly eager to learn and grow. Her friends, on the other hand, recall her infectious laugh, her knack for telling stories, and her ability to turn even the dullest of days into a memorable adventure. As she grew older, her passion for beauty and fashion only intensified. Alexis was not just content with following trends, she wanted to set them. She dreamed of becoming an influencer, of using her love for fashion to inspire others and make a difference in the world. Alexis was more than just a pretty face. She was a woman of substance, of ambition, and of dreams. She had a vision for her life, and she was determined to turn that vision into reality. She was a beacon of positivity, her optimism and zest for life contagious to those around her. Growing up, Alexis was always full of life. Her infectious smile and vibrant personality made her a favorite among peers. She was a beacon of light in the lives of many. Her story just beginning to unfold, her dreams just starting to take flight. Alexis's love for beauty and fashion didn't go unnoticed, as she started gaining a significant following on Instagram. This young woman in her mid-20s had a keen eye for style and an effervescent personality that attracted thousands. Her Instagram feed became a vibrant collage of life's finest moments, filled with fashion inspiration and glimpses of her leisurely pursuits. Alexis's rise to fame was gradual but steady. She started out as just another user sharing her life's little moments. Yet, her unique take on fashion and her ability to connect with her followers on a personal level set her apart. Her posts were not just pictures, they were stories, narratives that allowed her followers to join her on her journey. She had an uncanny ability to make her followers feel like they were part of her everyday life, and this made her more than just an influencer. It made her a friend to many. She frequently posted about her fashion choices, her travel escapades, and her daily life. Each post was a testament to her vivacious character and her love for life. Her followers couldn't help but be drawn to her radiant smile and the joie de vivre that she exuded. It was more than just the clothes or the destinations, it was Alexis herself that people were drawn to. Her charisma and knack for storytelling made her a beloved figure in the world of social media. She had an authenticity that is often missing in the influencer culture, and this authenticity resonated with her followers. Alexis was more than just an influencer, she was a beacon of positivity and a source of inspiration for many. Her rise to fame, however, was not just about the numbers, it was about the relationships she built, the lives she touched, and the joy she spread. Alexis's story is a testament to the power of social media, showing how it can be used to build connections, inspire others, and create a vibrant, supportive community. Her charisma and sense of style made Alexis a beloved figure on social media, leaving her followers always wanting more. Fate brought Alexis and Tom Sharkey together, changing the course of their lives forever. The two met in a story as old as time, their paths crossing in a moment that would bind them together. The courtship between Alexis and Tom was a whirlwind of affection and shared moments, a dance of two hearts intertwining. It was a romance that was quick to ignite, and it wasn't long before they decided to seal their love in marriage. Their wedding was a joyous occasion, a celebration of their union and the beginning of what they hoped would be a long and happy life together. As a couple, they presented an image of love and unity, a testament to their commitment and affection. Yet, beneath the surface, there were undercurrents that hinted at a darker narrative. Despite the joy of their union, little did Alexis know that her fairy tale was about to take a dark turn. Behind the picture-perfect social media posts, a disturbing reality was slowly unfolding in Alexis and Tom's marriage. The couple, who once appeared infatuated with one another, began to show signs of strain. Beneath the surface of their seemingly idyllic life, discord and violence were brewing. Tom, once the charming man who swept Alexis off her feet, was gradually revealing a different side of himself. Reports emerged of a history of domestic violence within their marriage, casting a dark shadow over their union. As the violence escalated, the home that had once been a sanctuary for Alexis became a place of fear and uncertainty. Friends and family started noticing changes in Alexis. The vibrant, vivacious woman they knew was slowly fading, replaced by a woman constantly on edge, her spirit dampened by the turmoil she was experiencing. The sparkle in her eyes was dimming, the joy in her laughter was fading, and the light within her was slowly being extinguished. Alexis had spoken about divorce before her untimely death, a clear indication that she was desperate to escape the clutches of her abusive marriage. She yearned for freedom, for a life devoid of violence and fear. She longed to reclaim her identity, to rediscover the woman she used to be before the darkness of her marriage engulfed her. As the situation worsened, Alexis found herself trapped in a web of fear and confusion. She was caught in the crossfire of love and hate, struggling to reconcile the man she fell in love with and the monster he had become. Her attempts to leave were met with resistance, and she was left feeling isolated and desperate. The home that was once filled with love and laughter was now overshadowed by tension and fear. What was once a safe haven had turned into a battlefield, a place where love was replaced with violence, and laughter with tears. The dark side of their marriage was now impossible to ignore, a stark contrast to the picture-perfect image they portrayed to the world. On November 27, 2020, Alexis Sharkey vanished without a trace, leaving her friends and family frantic. It was a day like any other. Alexis, the vibrant and lively Instagram influencer, had been active on her social media platforms, sharing glimpses of her life with her legions of followers. Little did they know, these would be the last updates they would receive from her. On the evening of that same day, Tom Sharkey, Alexis's husband, reported her missing. He claimed that he had not heard from her since the previous night, which was unusual given her usually communicative nature. As the news of Alexis's disappearance spread, her friends, family and followers clung to the hope that she would be found safe and sound. The local police department, along with volunteers, launched an extensive search operation. They combed through the city, knocking on doors, checking security footage, and reaching out to anyone who might have seen Alexis. Social media was ablaze with pleas for information, with Alexis's followers joining the efforts to find her, sharing her photos and the details of her disappearance far and wide. As the hours ticked by, the situation grew increasingly dire. There was no sign of Alexis, no leads to her whereabouts, and no communication from her. The vibrant, full-of-life woman had seemingly vanished into thin air. Her close-knit circle of friends and family were left in a state of despair and confusion, unable to comprehend how Alexis, who was so full of life, could just disappear. The search continued throughout the night, with the police and volunteers tirelessly scouring the city, but as dawn broke and there was still no sign of Alexis, a chilling reality began to set in. The hope of finding Alexis alive was slowly fading. As hours turned into a day, the hope of finding Alexis alive was slowly fading. The morning of November 28, 2020, marked a tragic end to the search for Alexis. Sharkey's nude body was discovered around 8 a.m. on November 28, in bushes on the 1000 block of Red Hall Lane in the Houston Energy Corridor in Harris County. Her body was believed to have been left overnight, and police saw no evidence that she walked down the road, nor that there had been any attempt to conceal her body. The next morning, Tom identified her body at the Harris County Medical Examiner's office. In an interview with ABC 13 Eyewitness News Houston, Tom said that his wife was not as happy as she presented herself on social media, and that he had been struggling emotionally since her disappearance. But that their marriage was happy. He said that he had been cooperating with detectives, but he ended the conversation by saying, I'm sorry, I'm not a jerk. I'm just destroyed." News of her tragic end spread like wildfire, leaving friends, family, and followers grappling with an unfathomable reality. Alexis, who was just 26 years old, had been reported missing by her husband just the day before. The sudden transition from a missing person case to a grisly discovery sent shockwaves through the community. As the initial shock subsided, it gave way to a myriad of questions. Who could have done this to Alexis, and why? The Houston police launched an investigation, combing through every piece of evidence they could find. The autopsy report came back with a chilling conclusion. Alexis had been strangled to death. This wasn't a tragic accident. It was a calculated act of violence. The grim discovery of her body marked a turning point in the narrative. Alexis's vibrant life, her radiant smile that had adorned countless Instagram posts, was now marred by the grim specter of death. The tragedy of her untimely death was compounded by the brutal manner in which she was taken from those who loved her. As the news of her death spread, her Instagram profile turned into an impromptu memorial site, with followers leaving comments expressing their sorrow and disbelief. Alexis's life, once filled with color and joy, had been brutally cut short, leaving behind a void that could never be filled. The investigation into her death was only just beginning. With each passing day, the police were piecing together the puzzle, trying to make sense of the senseless. Yet, the question remained, who could have committed such a heinous act? With the confirmation of her death, the search for Alexis turned into a hunt for her killer. As the investigation into Alexis's murder progressed, the clues were leading to one person, Tom Sharkey. The mystery was beginning to unravel, and the pieces of the puzzle were coming together to form a picture that was as chilling as it was heartbreaking. The man Alexis had once loved, trusted, and shared her life with was now under the microscope of suspicion. Police had obtained an arrest warrant for Tom on September 29th. His evasiveness during the investigation raised eyebrows. His reluctance to cooperate and his inconsistent accounts of events painted a picture of a man with something to hide. This behavior was not fitting the grieving husband's profile and was instead adding to the growing list of reasons why he was suspected of murdering Alexis. But there was more. There was a history of domestic violence between Alexis and Tom, a dark cloud that had hovered over their marriage. Alexis had spoken of divorce before her death, which raised the question, was this a motive for murder? Could a man driven by jealousy and fear of abandonment have committed such a horrific act? The U.S. Marshals Task Force, in their relentless pursuit of justice, located Tom at his daughter's home in Florida. But the confrontation they were preparing for never happened. Tom was found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, leaving behind more questions than answers. The police concluded that Tom Sharkey was the only person with the means, motive, and opportunity to have committed the murder. The man who should have protected Alexis was instead the one from whom she needed protection. It was a grim realization and a tragic end to a life that had promised so much more. The man Alexis had once loved was now the prime suspect in her murder. The unraveling of the murder mystery was as shocking as the crime itself. A tale of love turned sour, a life cut short, and a justice that arrived too late. In a shocking turn of events, Tom Sharkey was found dead in Florida, from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. As the prime suspect in his wife's murder, the discovery of Tom's lifeless body marked a sudden and unexpected end to this tragic tale. The U.S. Marshals Task Force, having traced Tom to his daughter's home, arrived on the scene only to find him already deceased. The gunshot wound to his head was indicative of suicide, a desperate act that further corroborated the police's suspicions. Tom Sharkey, it seemed, had taken his own life, unable to bear the weight of his actions or the looming threat of justice. In the wake of Tom's death, the investigation into Alexis Sharkey's murder reached its conclusion. The police, having obtained an arrest warrant for Tom on the 29th of September, had been closing in on him. Their probe had unveiled a history of domestic violence between the couple, painting a stark picture of the life Alexis had been leading behind the scenes. In their final report, the police named Tom as the sole person with the means, motive, and opportunity to commit the murder. They believed Alexis Sharkey had been strangled by her husband, a grim end to the life of a woman who had been known for her vibrant presence on Instagram. The aftermath of these tragic events sent ripples through the social media community, casting a long shadow on the glamorous world of influencers. Alexis Sharkey's death and the subsequent revelations about her marriage sparked a dialogue about the unseen dangers lurking behind the picture-perfect images shared online. Her followers, who had admired her for her fashion and leisure posts, were left grappling with the harsh reality of her demise. In the end, while Tom Sharkey's death may have brought an end to the investigation, it did little to alleviate the sense of loss felt by those who knew and loved Alexis. Her memory lives on, a poignant reminder of a life cut short and the dangers that can lie hidden behind a seemingly idyllic existence. While justice may have been served, the death of Alexis Sharkey remains a grim reminder of the dangers lurking behind the glamorous world of social media influencers.